Mr. Bach.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this interview opportunity and welcome back to Beijing.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Okay, first of all, could you please just share with us some of the key priorities of your current visit? And also, what would you like to take away from this visit?
Yeah. Well, thank you. It's always great to be back in Beijing and in China in general. I'm here for the 7th Forum on China-Africa Media Cooperation that's focused on media and audiovisual services. And for us, I'm the Minister of Information and Civic Education for Sierra Leone. There's huge opportunities to partner, collaborate, learn from, and benefit from our partnership that we continue to enjoy with China. And those I've spoken about in my speech, that one, we would like to see greater people-to-people exchange. We want to see that interaction. Two, we want to see collaboration and cooperation amongst, in terms of technology. And for us, it's not just about for us to benefit from Chinese technology. It is for us to be part of the process of creating AI models and technologies so that these models can be responsive to our needs. We see that what is happening in the world is already leading to inequality. Africa is being left behind, and African models, African languages are not fully captured in these. And one of the things I've been pushing is to say to China, there's a huge opportunity, there's huge markets here for us to work together on that. There's also just expertise in professional. China has built fantastic expertise and professionalism over the years. Within the academic institutions, higher learning, we want to continue to benefit from those exchanges as well. And finally, I think China is a shining example on how to tell your own story and not to allow different narratives to define who you are. China has chosen its own path. It's told its own stories over the years, and it's built its own narrative and storytelling tools through different forms of media, and audiovisual and traditional media. You can tell the Chinese story is its own form, it has its own confidence, and it inspires its people. We want to be able to learn from that. Our desire is to tell our African story, is to tell it in our own words. So we want this partnership to help us mutually. I think, again, China can benefit from African stories, we benefit from their stories, but help us all authentically tell our own stories, because that's what we think is what will enrich the global conversation.
Mm-hmm. Of course, media definitely plays an important role in telling our own stories, and we're all gathered here for this 7th Forum on China-Africa Media Cooperation. How do you assess media's role when it comes to enhancing people-to-people understanding?
I think the media is at the core. I think we live in a very interesting age today. We have the proliferation of media. We have different media platforms. Everybody's a journalist. Everybody's part of the human instinct is to tell stories. And you can see that the ordinary citizens have grabbed the different tools that are available to them, and they are telling different stories. And they can drive cooperation and collaboration. They can drive respect and mutual exchange and culture, or they can also drive misinformation and negativity. So the media plays a central role in understanding and people-to-people exchange, in informing about opportunities, in informing about truly the beauty and the connections that are so deep that you know so much about between Africa and China. Our cultures are similar, interconnected, our respect for family and people and values. But the media cannot focus on that and focus on other things. So the media plays a key role to help tell the truth, to tell the reality of our stories, to facilitate this exchange.
I think you mentioned a very interesting point. It's about we're living in this digital age. That means ordinary people, actually, they are also empowered to tell our own stories.
Correct.
So in this digital age, and in this digital era, and with the booming of different social media platforms, what do you think we can do to enable, to further strengthen our voice, especially enable young people to tell the China-Africa stories better?
I think I said in my speech that young people are not waiting for us. They are already creating the future. They've already grabbed onto the tools that are available to them, and they're trying to make something out of them. I've just learned that, for example, now Chinese media, young people are creating new films that are even doing better in the box office than the traditional media. People have this desire to tell stories, to entertain. I think what we can do is exactly what we're trying to do in these kinds of meetings, to foster cooperation, to think of elevating the conversation, to develop the tools to make them available, to create some level of regulation, because that's important, so we can protect even our young people, they're not subjected to abuse and manipulation. We need to create an enabling environment through the policy framework, but we need to create that enabling environment with only one goal in our mind, as you said, to give young people the tools, to enable them to create a new future, to be able to create new products, to tell new exciting stories, to author their own destinies. And I think that's where the energy should be. That's why in Sierra Leone we've developed a new film policy. That's why that new film policy takes into consideration AI and what you can do with different tools. That's why we're trying to create an enabling regulatory environment. That's why we developed a new media policy as well, and information policy in the country. We want to be able to give young people, the people that call themselves bloggers, social media creators, all these exciting new constituencies that have grabbed onto the changing nature of the media landscape. We want to give them the tools, the equipment, the education, and the necessary policy framework for them to be able to thrive.
And still on technology, I think you also mentioned it in your May keynote speech. It's about AI. AI is definitely shaping our media industry. And I just want you to introduce the on-the-ground situation back there in Sierra Leone. How has it been influencing news production in Sierra Leone?
I think what AI is doing is basically taking our feet off from under us, right? It's just sweeping everything on. It's helping everything to be produced en masse and quickly, but it's also leading to so much more distortions and misinformation. And sometimes you don't even know what is happening and where information is from. And there's a danger of deep fakes. There's a danger of like digital distortions of images, of videos, and alterations of content that can create and skew certain narratives. So we're still in the precipice of trying to figure out how we interact with that. But our president has set up a Ministry for Communications, Technology and Innovation that has a whole AI policy. And within our AI policies to try to set regulations and guidelines on what you can do and you cannot do with AI. Our Minister of Justice just brought forward an evidence policy that looks specifically as well as what you can do, for example, in our courts, in our justice system, and what are the rules around AI, right? We're developing different legislation as well in the Ministry of Information to be able to help the media to think about what is the ethical use of AI and how we can do trainings and all of that. That's also where I think there's an opportunity for us to learn from China, because China is so much further ahead and advanced in terms of embracing AI, in terms of leading basically in the global race on AI. I think China is pretty much ahead on that, and it has the experience of doing it. So we hope, again, in these relationships and in this partnership at this forum, that is one area we can get real tangible collaboration and partnership with the people of China.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, opportunities and risks coexist, and it's quite important to regulate. And that's what your government has been doing, and also China also has been doing as well. And still on AI, because we know that actually Chinese AI models are quite popular in Africa, and a lot of local technological developers, they're actually utilizing Chinese AI models to develop local apps and to meet local demands and needs. I don't know if there is certain cases like that back in Sierra Leone.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I think most of the platforms that are being used in Sierra Leone, we benefit a lot from the tools that have been developed and built by China, because China has a lot of open platforms that are available and are not restrictive. And so our young creators are jumping onto those, and they're trying to use them. It's not just our creators, it's also from the perspective of even at the level of government, right? We partner with Huawei, at the level of the states. Our Directorate of Science, Technology and Innovation is partnered with Chinese companies. Our ministry is partnered with Chinese companies. Again, because as I've said, the Chinese platforms, they take into consideration a very global perspective. They allow our users the flexibility to be able to customize and build things that are suitable for our market. And they come from a perspective of understanding and collaboration. So that's where we want to continue to go.
Your ministry actually also mandates the civil education. I think that one of the keywords from our conversation so far is education, young people. So how can we actually empower young people to be the better ambassadors between China and Africa and to tell China-Africa stories better?
Yeah, so you're right. My ministry, as I said in the speech, is not just information, it's civic education. Because our president believes in young people and believes that young people need to have the tools to be better citizens. One of the places where I've learned a lot on civic education is China, moral education, which is very critical in the Chinese education system. Kids go to school and they learn how to behave, respect for their country, respect for their flag, pride in their country. Unfortunately, our education system did not have that for so long. And so you saw that what we consumed was, again, outside media, outside, and we grew up worshipping, celebrating what is not Sierra Leonean. We only look at what is outside us, what is Western, British, American, sometimes a few times Asian. But what we are trying to do, what President Biu is seeking for us to do, is to teach our young people to care for their country, to take pride in their country, to love their country, to understand the history of their country. You cannot love your country, you cannot have a sense of patriotic pride if you don't understand the history of your country. That's what I admire so much about China. You meet a young child and they will tell you about Chinese history. They take pride in the years, thousands of years of civilization that China is. And I think that's where there's just this fantastic opportunity again on civic education between our country and China, that we can learn how you've done it, but we can build on that model as well. We can partner on that model. Because we believe, and President Bill believes this, that even if you invest in education and just a form of formalized kind of education, but you don't spend enough time in investing in a sense of love for your country, pride in your country, pride in your community, you're not going to be as committed to the collective development as you ought to be. And education just for yourself is not sufficient. It's just like what you have in China. It's education for your country. It's pride in your country. It's the determination to build your country forward. And that's something that we're committed to in my ministry.
Yeah. I can tell the pride you have in your nation. And so on that note, I would like you to introduce a bit of the characteristics and values and stories of your country to the Chinese audiences.
Well, thank you very much. This is a great opportunity to share about Sierra Leone. We're a beautiful country, first of all. I mean, you've been there. The landscape is magnificent. We believe it's the most beautiful beach you'll find anywhere in the world. Our beaches are all white. The sand is pretty much golden, and the water is warm, and the weather is fantastic. It's predictable. Timelines, you have enough light all day, no matter the time of the year. And that's one of the things that we love, and people come to our country and they appreciate. The second thing is our hospitality. You'll find our culture is about welcoming people. We welcome everybody you meet in Sierra Leone will smile at you. We love our guests. We love to interact with our Chinese people. That's why the Chinese communities in Sierra Leone are thriving, because we are welcoming people. We embrace strangers. It is part of our identity. We love to have a good time. We love to sing. We love to dance. We are happy people. We're incredibly tolerant. We're religious tolerant. We have different religions in Sierra Leone, but we'll never have a religious conflict in our country. Our president is a practicing Catholic. He's married to a practicing Muslim. Our vice president is Muslim. In our country, I come from a family, my father was Muslim, my mother was Christian. In Sierra Leone, that is not a problem. So we've got fantastic natural habitat. We've got great wildlife. We have the most exotic wildlife that you're going to find. For example, the chimpanzee species, which is our national language, we have that in Sierra Leone. When you go there, you'll be able to see it. We've just had another site that's been declared a UNESCO Natural Heritage Site in our country, the Tiwai Island. It's a beautiful island. We've got great history. Sierra Leone was the foundation, was the Our capital city is called Freetown. You know why it's called Freetown? Because it was the place where people who were seeking freedom, away from slavery, away from colonization, they went there, and this was a place where they could be themselves. And we've carried on that proud history of freedom. The people that embrace freedom, just joy, happiness, and an ability to determine ourselves. And the final thing I would say, we have a great historical pedigree on education. Sierra Leone is the home of the first universities in sub-Saharan Africa, the first educational institutions in sub-Saharan Africa, the first printing institutions in sub-Saharan Africa, the first broadcasting institution in sub-Saharan Africa. We have a real pedigree in terms of excellence on academia, on different legal professions, and the different academic professions on the continent of Africa. People used to go to Sierra Leone. In fact, they used to refer to us as the Athens of Africa. And what that meant was it was the place of enlightenment, the history of enlightenment in Africa. It was where you went for if you wanted superior education. That is a history that we share. That's a history that we have. Our contribution to the continent is unmatched. And any other country, we're very small people. We're just 8 million, 28,000 square kilometers, small country. But we have a rich history and a record of contribution to Africa. And as I said, warmth and hospitality. So anybody in China who's looking for a great place to go, a destination, you must consider Sierra Leone.
Wow, thank you. That's a very lovely introduction and promotion of your beautiful country. I was actually planning to ask you a few questions on tourism side, but I think that one will do.
I cover
yes,
that.
and
yes. Yeah.
I think for those who haven't traveled there, definitely the seed has been planted. And for me, I've been there, but one time is definitely not
No,
enough.
you have to come back properly.
Of course. And I want to go to the bilateral side because now with the implementation of the zero tariff treatment to African countries, I'm wondering what opportunities has it created for Sierra Leone and what kind of products can we expect here in the Chinese market?
Well, we have to first of all thank the People's Republic of China, President Xi, for the zero tariff policy for all the 53 countries that have bilateral relations with your country, with China. This is fantastic. This is exactly what we've been dying for, what we've been praying for, what we've been calling for. We want trade, we want partnership, we want an open exchange, an opportunity for our goods to compete in the market fairly. And with this, I can tell you that Sierra Leone is poised to take advantage because right now, our signature policy in Sierra Leone is called Feed Salon. So our president is investing significantly in our agricultural productivity, and we have unique goods to contribute to the Chinese market. First of all, we have some of the best fish in the world. In fact, China has already given us clearance to be able to bring the fish from Sierra Leone and to be able to sell in the Chinese market. We've got great, not just fish, but seafood in general. Any kind you talk about, we've got the freshest, the most tasty ones you're going to ever find on the face of the earth. And now, I think with this policy, it's going to increase the opportunity to exchange. But we also have natural minerals. We already have a big partnership with Chinese companies that are bringing in iron ore, gold, diamond, rutile, bauxite, and other things into the Chinese market. I think this is going to continue to help us to do that. But in terms of additional products, we've got coffee, we've got cocoa, we've got food products as well that you can find some of the best qualities as well that are being produced in Sierra Leone, but in the past have not had the opportunity to come into the Chinese market. We produce fantastic palm products, palm oil and other palm-related products that we're hoping as well will be part of this exchange and that we can work together on. So I think the people of China should expect to see a lot of quality products. And one more thing I should say is fabrics. We've got fantastic fabric as well that you can get from Sierra Leone, high quality, the country cloth fabric that you can get from our country that we hope will be part of this exchange that you're going to see happen and that we take advantage of the zero tariff that you mentioned.
And what about the new areas of cooperation? We've talked about AI and the broader digital economy. What about renewable energy?
Absolutely.
And technological innovations?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the possibilities on that front are endless. I think when you come to new areas of collaboration, you mentioned renewable energy. Our country has just signed the Mission 300 agreement. Our ambition is to basically expand significantly renewable energy and make sure that our people have access to energy. And that's an area that we're looking for Chinese collaboration and partnership, and that's one that we're excited by. We've mentioned AI a lot in this conversation. AI basically can take us into very different fields and areas of partnership and collaboration. But other technology, other aspects of technology as well, on food processing, that's huge for us. Marine technology, what we do in China is helping us, is developing a massive fish harbor, the first one that we're going to get in our country. That's going to expand our potential in terms of the fish area significantly. China has continued to invest in Belt and Road, but also using new technology. We will need to create more roads, bridges. We need to link our communities as well and enable our farmers to get their product out into the field. But not just the core of those, but also the supporting industries around that. Those are also huge. Telecommunication. It's an area that's not seen a lot of investment from China in our country, but that's an area I think we welcome as well, Chinese investment. I've mentioned in my own sector, printing. We've got a massive partnership right now with the government, with a Chinese company that's invested in transforming the government printer in Sierra Leone. We want to see more of that, for example, in areas like broadcasting and film production. For me, that's where I'm excited. I really am hoping that at the end of this visit, and when I meet with the Chinese authorities as well, which I will be doing today, that we can talk about how we partner, particularly around film production. We want equipment, we want training, we want exchange programs, we want co-production and co-building, because that's going to be a big game changer, I think.
So just one more question, because I've been doing this China-Africa related podcast, and besides my routine work, actually, I've also doing a multimedia project called Together Forward. It's revolving around the 10 partnership action plans announced at the 2024 Beijing FOCAC Summit, be it agriculture, infrastructure, and supply chains. And I just would like you to share your messages to journalists like me, and we're on the front lines of telling China-Africa stories, right? So maybe some encourage from you for us to promote the bilateral cooperation and also to enhance mutual understanding.
Well, what I would say first of all is thank you. Those of you who are bold enough, courageous enough, and generous enough to try to understand a culture as distant in terms of physical location. We're separated by all these waters, but we're so close in terms of our culture and our respect and our values in the things that build us. So those of you who are telling that story, we appreciate you and we see you. But my encouragement is the opportunities are endless. Africa is the youngest continent. We are the future. Together with China, we can create and own the next century. We can write the future of the world. It is the partnership that has the highest potential to transform the world and bear result. And I think you are at the precipice, you're right there. The work that you do, you're capturing that. You're documenting that. It's a critical work, and you must keep doing it.
Thank you so much. That's a huge encouragement. I'm determined to continue doing what I've been doing.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Minister Bah, and enjoy your stay here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is CGTN Radio. Hear the difference.